So at what point did you know I have a problem?
Okay. So it was more so when I got out of the industry. I was in the industry for 13 years. So think of 13 years of every day
Of
of
bartending?
bartending in the food and restaurant industry.
Mm-hmm.
So for over 13 years, I was, doing this gradual process and normalizing it.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head mental, I was like, yeah, this is fine. It wasn't until after I got out of that industry and was in pursuit of a career, that I realized that you know, it was going to be a problem because I normalized it so much that it became something that I would do now, and I wasn't in that industry anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It would be times like after work, I would, all right, I can't wait to go drink.
Mm-hmm.
That turned into lunchtime. Can't wait to go to drink.
Mm.
Then it got to a point where like before I go to work, I'll take a shot.
Mm-hmm.
When during my bartending times, while drinking, I could drink whatever. It was beer. It was
Anything.
light, yeah, dark
Because you had
beer.
access to everything.
Yes, I was
Mm-hmm.
trying out new stuff here and there, and
Mm-hmm.
this, that, and the third. So I didn't have a preference when I had to go into the workforce and pursue a career. I knew that the stuff that I was drinking, you could, you'd be able to smell it on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember one time it's like, hey, did you party last night? And I was like,
Mm.
and you could smell it, like the beer
Okay.
and whatever. So
Okay.
because my mindset was already there. I was still in denial, or just
Mm-hmm.
I had to figure out ways how I can hide my
Mm-hmm.
me wanting to have some drinks afterwards or beforehand, whatever. And so I went from beer to graduated to vodka. Can't It's odorless. You know the drill with vodka. It's odorless. You really can't smell it as much as
Looks like water.
it looks like water. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, coming to that part, I would uh I would have a Deer Park bottle in my car, where I was driving to, wherever place I was.
Mm-hmm.
I have it in there, and then during you know right before I go in, take a swig,
Mm-hmm.
clock in, lunchtime,
Wow.
go to the car. So slowly but surely, I would deteriorate, I believe, but I couldn't feel anything. It wasn't like every day I wake up, function properly, just go to work, do whatever I need to do, function. Thank God I'm alive. Appreciate it. Drive to and fro to where I was going safely, and there was no physical changes at that point. It got to um, when I really started drinking, like, and I knew it was going downhill. Um, the pandemic, really, when I was alone,
Okay.
that's when I was stuck in the house. Only
Mm-hmm.
thing that was open was, for me, was the liquor store, and
Mm.
I knew the hours of the liquor store. I knew what time. I knew it was 19.99 for a 1.75 liter of Svedka. Cost I knew to
You
bring
knew the price.
$21.19.
Wow.
I knew
Wow.
that if it wasn't on sale for 19.99, then I needed to bring 23.49,
Mm.
and
Wow.
I would do that during the pandemic. I would do that every 3 days. With I would be done with that bottle in 3 days, but I would get it every 2 days because I couldn't have it
You couldn't
empty.
run out.
I couldn't run out. It was a schedule. I knew what time I needed to be. This, that, and the third. I would
Mm-hmm.
look up locations of where the nearest wherever I was. Where's the nearest liquor store, in case I need to go in and pick up something.
So alcohol was starting to take control of your life at
Mm,
that point
yes,
because
yes,
a lot of your attention was focused on that. like that next drink, and making sure that you didn't run out.
Correct. Alcohol. Alcohol. It was basically wake up. I was equivalent to like, what's that song? Swimming Pools by Kendrick Lamar. Wake up, drink, pull up, drink. Like that was me. My daily routine it evolved around alcohol. So it took a hold on me, where the sorry,
It's okay.
it yeah, I basically, my relationships or wherever my schedule was, it had to have alcohol involved in it. And
Okay.
if it didn't, then then I'm not going. I'm not going to make it.
Right. So it had control. Um, Help us, because again, I it's important for me to make sure that other people understand that things are going on with people on the inside, that's causing, you know, reaching for the bottle. Um, and so, what were you dealing with emotionally at this point? Because I would think that you were starting to reflect back on your life in terms of, what your goal was or had been, and you got these student loans, family relationships, responsibilities. Where were you emotionally?
Emotionally, I was lost.
Tell
I
me.
didn't I didn't have any direction. I didn't the the expectations that I had on myself, and like the opportunities that I thought that was going to be just handed to me,
Mm-hmm.
that was afforded to me, that was in college, high
Mm-hmm.
school, college,
Mm-hmm.
all that, you know, was,
Mm-hmm.
came it was a huge realization, stark realization that it's
That wasn't happening.
it
Right.
wasn't happening. It
Right
wasn't
at
happening.
that time, anyway.
Right.
At that time.
And I became, I felt I felt like I let a lot of people down.
Mm-hmm.
There was a sense of, I'm back at the house. There's a sense of guilt.
So you moved back.
I moved back at the house.
Okay.
When
Mm-hmm.
after college, when I moved back, I
Oh,
felt,
okay.
yeah, this is.
Okay.
And even when I was bartending and whatnot, I was still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like for a
Mm-hmm.
good amount of those 13 years,
Mm-hmm.
I was still at the house. So I felt like I was stuck. I wasn't where I wanted to be mentally. That, between that, the college debt.
Mm-hmm. That was hanging,
hmm
hanging over your head, not going anywhere
hmm
at all.
Right. So uh, there's a lot of sense of guilt. Mentally, I wasn't where I wanted to be. There was a sense of guilt, shame,
Mm-hmm.
of a lot of depression, because I was,
Mm-hmm.
in my parents' house. Everyone, my friends and family, those I was partying with, they've moved on to better careers,
Mm-hmm.
family, and
Mm-hmm.
they're creating their own family, and I'm just bartending, single bartending, and drinking every day. Just
Mm-hmm. That wasn't
it was where I
wasn't working
wanted.
so well.
No.
So I've heard that for many people who drink, there's a point of hitting rock bottom, if you will.
hmm
What was that point for you?
There was one day. It was 2022. That year, I started feeling a little weaker, and still in denial and whatnot.
Physically?
Yeah, physically, I started feeling a little weaker, and getting up was hard. It was getting difficult. That year, one of my friends that I would like go hard with
Mm-hmm.
back in the days,
Mm-hmm.
like wake up 6 a.m. It was a competition who could
Mm-hmm.
drink the most and function the best. He passed away 2022.
Oh
Now
wow.
he was known to be, continue his path the same way I did mine. He was still doing his, and I know that because, and during the pandemic, via Zoom, guess what we were doing on Zoom? Catching up, but taking shots, drinking. Yes. The At that point of my life, I had let go, and I just didn't. It didn't matter anymore for me. And at that point, the rock bottom was I didn't care. It took he passed away, 2022, and I went to his funeral, and I knew like what I was feeling. At that time, I could barely walk, and I saw myself in that coffin, and it was a while because I isolated myself during the pandemic. I isolated myself away from everybody. I just wanted to hide. It was me in the bottle.
Mom, dad,
friends, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. It was me. I'll go work, come back up in my room, and just.
Did your family notice your body changing?
My mom did. My parents did. And anytime they speak about it, it's like, let me talk. Like, we have to talk about your drinking problem. I was like, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem at all. So I was in denial, and I couldn't see myself. I see myself in the mirror, and I just see, all right, cool. Everyone else saw me, and my friends saw me at the funeral as well. They, that was been a while, and they looked at me. They looked at
you. You knew in their faces.
Yeah, they said, "Hey, you don't look too well."
They told you.
They actually told me like it's
Good
like,
friends.
Good. Hey, the support system.
Good friends, because
yes.
some people enable and don't say anything. So, what happened? What was the day that turned everything around?
So, after that funeral, and my friends raising some concern, and me seeing the likelihood that was going to be me next, they reached out to me, and we set a plan for me to go ahead and get checked out, get seek some medical help because so I didn't want to do it on my time. I mean, I wanted to do it on my time though. Okay, God had other plans because on April 4th. April 4th, woke up, normal day, went to work, went downstairs, went to work, had my Deer Park with me, took my shots, clocked in, lunch, or did my work, lunch time, drank. So my normal routine I did, but in the morning time I felt my foot was a little swollen. Didn't think anything of it. I was just all right. Well, I just must have banged it or something. Later on that night, around 6, 7 o'clock, I think, I stuck around in the living room where I was staying at, and because I really couldn't get back upstairs because my foot was like now really swollen. And my landlord said, they were like, you don't look well right now. You look very, you look ghostly. So. I'm thinking I'll be all right. They called for an ambulance for me. So they're like, you should get admitted. And I was like, okay. I was still reluctant. I was like, I want to do it on my time because I was still reluctant. But I went and got myself admitted at a hospital in Reston. And the next thing I know, I'm waking up 2 days later. And basically, they asked me, do I know where I was? And I was like, yeah, I know where I am. So then they explained to me that I was in critical condition. I was explaining my parents were there, and
right.
Thank God for them. I was in critical condition for 2 days, on a ventilator. I was suffering from acute liver and kidney failure at that point, and just like the foot, like the shoe dropped immediately. It wasn't like just It was like that one day right there, liver and kidney failure. The nurses went to my parents and said, you should plan your final arrangements because the prognosis is gravely. Apparently my liver score, that's called a MELD score. Make sure everyone check it out.
Okay.
MELD score is from 1 to 40. 1 being, and then 40 being gravely. Oh, I was well at a 40. So I was at a 40, and the outcome was if everything had to happen a way that would be none other than miraculous for me to get through that part.
To survive.
Yeah, to survive.
So you needed a liver.
They did every test that you could possibly imagine on me. I felt like, and they knew it was the liver part, but they wanted to make sure the liver and kidneys, both of them were failed. But both of them failed. So they did all these tests to make sure everything else was working properly. And before they could even think of putting me on that list, I had to make sure, they had to make sure that everything else was.
So you were put on a liver transplant waiting list?
At that moment, I wasn't accepted on the list yet because they had to see if I was even salvageable, I felt like a car, like they had to make sure that everything
mentally, emotionally,
physically and emotionally.
And physically.
Yeah. They asked, the doctors was like a team of 8 asked me, it's like, why do you deserve a second, a chance at a liver?
Why should they give you the next liver?
And I basically is like, I can't put my family through this again. I've survived this part, and I've right. I had to let go and let God in. It was like,
right. I hear you. You're sitting here, so you survived. I'm sure your family and friends, the support had a lot to do with it.
Yes.
Recovery, what type of support did you receive? And I'm sure you're still receiving.
Oh, yes. Every day, my mom and dad, they'd alternate. Every day they'd come in, and they would come in with the bright, the most positive spirit. They weren't ashamed of me. There was no guilt. They were just like, okay, let's just be there. I love, there was nothing but unmitigated love, just undeniable love. My friends, same thing. The amount of support.
Are you in any programs?
Not anymore. But I did. Part of the agreement in order to receive that transplant was that I'd had to go to an outpatient clinic.
I know you have a amazing voice, and I think your ministry is shown through your voice in some of the songs that you share with other people, because this is a testimony. So can you just sing a few bars for us, please?
Yeah, I got you. This is one of my recovery songs that I would go through. I'll just do like the chorus.
Okay.
It was "Fix You" by Coldplay. Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I want to thank all of our viewers and listeners for joining me today. We will be back with you soon with another episode of InvisAble Matters.